No!
Whoa! See how long we can hold that.
Yeah,
note.
we could have gone.
It's like The Voice. Welcome in, Googans. After Drill, as always, here on the 1010XL Facebook feed. I'm Beef. He's Drew. And as always, the After Drill program brought to you by our friends at the UPS store in Ponte Vedra Beach.
Located at 830 A1A North in Tournament Plaza. Locally owned and operated by our friends the Duncans for the last 25 years, serving the community with all your printing needs, whether it be brochures, business cards, yard signs, planners, you name it, they got you over there at the UPS store in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. You can reach them at 904-285-2345. That's 904-285-2345.
First and foremost, Drew, how was your 4th?
It was pretty good, man. How was yours?
Loud.
A lot of shelling.
The shelling continued over Clay County, yeah. I took the Petite out on Tuesday night, the 3rd, for the fireworks at World Golf Village. Shout out to them. They always do a great job down there. And it's nice for parents with the little guys because when the 4th falls in the middle of the week, it's hard, man, when you got to get up the next morning to go out on the 4th. So shout out to World Golf Village for the fireworks show. But yeah, last night we just kept it in the house, and mercifully, I don't know how this happened, but the kids slept through all the fireworks.
Wow.
So it was a real big win for
Remarkable.
me. So
what time did they go till? What time did the
Oh my
fireworks
God! I heard them still approaching midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, blissfully sweep came and took me away, and I stayed under Mr. Sandman's spell.
That's good.
Through the remainder of the fireworks show. I know last year I heard them at 3 a.m. I didn't hear them this year, but if they were blowing off quiet ones. But I think we had a little bit of a shower come through, which helped kind of put the kibosh on some of the late night festivities for you 4th of July people enjoying yourself. Not that we don't like people enjoying themselves, but maybe not till 3
I mean, for instance, you guys know how award-winning and all the millions of fans we have on this show. Right now, peak viewership is at 3.
It's through the roof right now.
People are
it's a very popular show. People are dragging ass today. Most people probably aren't at work. I know we had a day late, $1 short. Get Smart John joined us today for just an absolute chicken feathers edition of Get Smart John. And he was dragging it, man. I could tell. He admitted he was a little hungover this morning.
That's fair.
You could hear it, man.
Hey.
He was. There wasn't much consideration being made for the questions asked. He was just pulling randos out of the deck and asking just absolutely ridiculous BS questions. And it was a hard day all around for the whole drill team. But yeah, we'll.
Now, will my father be back tomorrow, or is that next week?
He'll be back next week.
Okay.
I think he's still. Is he back from Toronto?
I'm picking him up today.
You're picking him up today.
Yeah.
I saw that he did post a selfie up there with the Mets fans all gathered together wearing their orange T-shirts that said "North for the 4th."
That's right.
As Hick and the gang were up to watch. Well, it might have been Hick solo. I know his buddy had a lot of.
He finally made it.
A lot of issues getting across the border
in
into Canada.
I think he made it 2 days ago. He made it just before they went to that first game. So
stop traveling with a drug lord, Hick, and you won't run into these issues.
Unbelievable.
So somehow, not a whole lot of free agent movement over the holiday, probably because all the good free agents are gone now.
Right.
We wait to see what happens with Kyrie Irving, but no big movement. The real news is more guys who are already under contract giving indication that they don't intend to stay where they are.
Right.
And that came from both Jimmy Butler, who it was revealed that he's
having problems with Cat.
Has the young guys in general in Minnesota, whether now Karl Anthony Towns was named specifically, but also
probably just because he's the big name.
He's the big name guy, but there's a lot of young guys, and he said he doesn't really like the nonchalant attitude of the young guys there.
Wiggins and all them.
Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, etc., and that he isn't likely to re-sign with the T-Wolves when he hits free agency. And then you find out that word came down that Kyrie Irving may be looking to join the Knicks when his deal is up with Boston.
And they said they wanted to join forces.
If they want to join forces, I mean, New York has the money, so maybe New York will get in the mix.
Jimmy, Kyrie, and Porzingis.
And the Porzingis. Could be a good combo.
Not bad.
I don't know if it's enough to derail the champs, but it's enough to get in the mix, get in the conversation, especially in the East.
I mean, they'll be smacked out into the top of the East with that lineup.
Oh yeah, they'll be in the mix in the Eastern Conference, but whether they can make a deep run and anything like that, that's hard. I mean, even with those 3 guys, you still need to put the right pieces around them. Also, yesterday, if you were on Instagram at all, or really any social media feed, you saw just, hopefully you didn't see it, or at least not while you were eating, but as a cautionary tale, on the 4-year anniversary of the event, Jason Pierre-Paul shared images of what's left of his right hand.
Thank you so much, JPG.
as a warning to people to, if you're going to handle fireworks, to be safe. And he's right. If you're going to play around with it, keep in mind that these are still explosives.
Right.
And he shared pictures of what happened to him, now 4 years ago.
Right. When
he had, what was it? Was it a quarter stick? He had something go off in his hand that...
I don't know.
Whatever it was, I think it was a quarter stick.
I had the same thing happen to one of my buddies a couple of years ago, but he didn't lose any fingers. His hand was just all... I just don't... Why are you holding on to the firework?
Why are you holding on to it? Stick it somewhere where it's for... Light it
on fire and
do not
walk
hold
away.
it in your hand when it's lit.
Yeah.
Do not. I know you think, I've got the fuse, I've got time. I don't care.
Yeah. Just doesn't make any sense. But,
don't have it in your hand at all. As if it's lit, rule of thumb.
Right.
Lit explosives,
fair.
Not in your hands.
Fire,
Fire bad.
Yeah.
Listen to Frankenstein. Fire is bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to see the pictures, they're out there. Go on, search Jason Pierre-Paul. He shared. This was no punches pulled on these images. These were straight almost immediate aftermath. Shockingly, nobody took pictures literally immediately after he blew his hand up. I'm surprised there aren't
I think I remember one
exploded crab pictures.
I think I remember whether it was Scheffner or Rappaport or somebody right after it did happen, they put up a picture. And I think a lot of NFL players jumped on him basically saying...
somebody put up, I think, his x-ray.
Yeah, it was something. I can't remember what it was.
It was everybody said it was kind of, they got it through the hospital and said, you're violating these HIPAA laws.
Right.
It wasn't, this isn't a story. But yeah, Pierre-Paul shared, I think, about 4 images of his hand during the kind of reconstruction process. It's bad, man.
Yeah.
It was really ugly. Jeff described it very aptly this morning on the drill. He said, imagine... if you were roasting a Cornish game hen and you left it in a little too long and it sort of blew up.
There it is.
That's kind of what Jason Pierre-Paul's
that's what his hand looks like.
A lot of exposed raw meat, a lot of split skin. Really bad.
Yikes.
Really bad. If not for the squeamish. But if you got an iron stomach, go check it out.
Also, terrible timing for him because he was just about to sign some big deal.
He was about to get so paid. And,
he ended up being okay because he still showed him he could play and he got a new contract, but he's not making as much as he would have.
He's not making as much. It set him back. It threw him off the rails a little bit, and it's hard to bounce back from that. He's playing well, but he's not the... he was a freak.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like he's exactly the same guy.
Right.
It's hard, man, because you're missing a hand. You can't grab, you can't really hook guys. You're using that club, and it's like Reggie White did that by choice. Jason Pierre-Paul is doing that because he has no choice.
Yeah.
He literally has a club and has no option.
So
yesterday, the Washington Nationals are in trouble, Drew. They're since June 9th, they've only won 5 games.
Yeah, like you said, we keep waiting for them to turn it on and make this run.
And we keep saying by July 1st, you sort of are who you are in baseball. Now, teams can get hot, and especially teams that are talented. Yeah. And the Nats have all the talent in the world. They've got a terrific lineup and they've got good pitchers. So if there's ever a team that's built to weather bad play and get hot at the right time, it's probably them. But you have to start wondering because now, man, they are going the wrong direction. When you have a weekend where the Braves lose 2 out of 3 and somehow you lose ground on them, it's not good, man.
No.
It's not a good situation for the Washington Nationals, who had really, really high hopes. And again, still they're a major league team that's never won a playoff series, and they don't look like they're going to this year unless things turn around in a hurry. Now, some people are going way too far to the extreme and are suggesting that they might should consider trading Bryce Harper at the deadline. That's just dumb.
It's dumb.
That's dumb. That's short-sighted. I know Harper's not having the best year by his standards.
Baseball,
and they're certainly
does
not
happen.
having the best year as how they thought they were going to perform. But Harper is a superstar player, and the Nats are a very good team. They're not looking to trade Bryce Harper.
I think for me, the biggest surprise there in the NL East is just how long the Braves have hung around. Clearly they're a contender now at this point.
Well, sure.
If you looked at them, though, at the beginning of the year, you look at them, there's a lot of young talent, obviously, and they didn't have a lot of starting pitching. And so that was my big thing on them. I was like, I think they need another starting pitcher or two. Obviously, Albies and all these guys in Acuna have come out of nowhere, and they're playing fantastic baseball. So they're obviously a better contender than anticipated than when you saw at the beginning of the year. I thought they were still about a year away. But the whole time they were saying 2018, 2019 for that rebuild. So I think the Braves, at this point, it seems like it's the Braves' division to lose there. The Phillies might have a run in them. The Nats, like you said, you assume the Nats with all the talent that they have can get hot at some point. It's just like, how long are we going to be waiting for that run, and when is it going to be too late?
And that's the question. When does it become too late? Because they're going backwards. And it's not just the Braves that they have to worry about. The Phillies are playing well and staying in that mix too. So do the Nats have enough of a run in them that they can leapfrog two teams and make something happen? You know, I hate to always parallel it to my Cubs, but that's always what I come back to. The Braves this year remind me so much of the 2015 Cubs in that they weren't. That wasn't the year they were expected to be good, and they're expected to be improving, but the lineup was so good and so young that they just defied the odds all season, and they ended up winning, I think, 97 games that year, and they went all the way to the NLCS, and they were swept by the Mets, but they made a deep run because they just almost, they were too young and too dumb to know that they're not supposed to be as good as they are already. And I feel like that's where the Braves are right now. Their lineup, especially Albies and Acuna, are so young and so good, they almost don't know that they shouldn't be as good as they are.
Right.
But I still, like you said, I still worry, if I'm a Braves fan, I worry about the starting pitching depth.
Especially in a playoff series type setting, obviously, where starting pitching is so big. I wonder what kind of run they could make in the playoffs. But like I said, I mean, if you're looking at the NL East, you'd think if someone said, "Hey, you got to pick who you think your NL East winner is going to be," I mean, at this point, you'd almost have to say the Braves, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right now I feel like they're now. If I was the Braves heading towards the trade deadline, I'm not looking to make a big splash.
Right.
But
I'd get another arm.
If there's a veteran arm who's been there before,
right,
that I can get,
I think that would be huge for them.
That would be huge for them. And he doesn't even have to be a frontline guy.
Right.
It's more just that stabilizing influence in their clubhouse.
Type,
And the guy that immediately popped to mind, and he's not having a spectacular year, but he's available and he's having an okay year. And if Atlanta was able to acquire him, he'd probably slide in as about your fourth guy in the rotation. But he's been through it. And he's made deep runs in the postseason. He's been part of the wars. The Rangers are looking to deal Cole Hamels.
Right.
And he's not as good as he used to be by any stretch. But
obviously a ton of postseason experience.
A ton of experience, and he could step in and really be that calming influence in that clubhouse.
Yeah.
That when stuff starts getting real for them, when they get into September and get into these postseason series, that there's a guy you can look to who can say, look, we're all good here.
You wouldn't have to give up a ton to get him.
No, you wouldn't have to give up a lot to get a guy like that. So. Or a guy of that ilk.
Right.
A veteran guy who's been through it.
You're not going to go after a DeGrom or a Syndergaard because then you'd have to part ways more than likely with Albies.
You'd have to give up a lot. And they're not deep enough in the lineup or good enough yet that they can overcome losing a guy like that.
No.
You know, if you're the Yankees
make so much sense.
You give up Gleyber Torres, you can overcome that. You've got bats everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you're the Braves, I mean, the Mets are going to want Albies or Acuna or somebody like that, and you can't overcome that. You're not that good yet to give up that guy and expect to just keep on rolling as much as they'd like to. But, I mean, DeGrom would be a huge gift for anyone. Sure. Anyone could use Jacob DeGrom.
The way that he's pitching
but
this year,
it's going to be a tall order.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him. I love my team to get in on Jake DeGrom, but I don't, the asking price is too much.
Yeah.
I don't know if
it's going to be, I think they're going to, I think the price that they want back for him is probably huge.
Right, so they're either going to have to come off the ask or they're going to have to stick with him. I mean, if you're the Mets, you've got him under club control for 2 more years. There's no urgency to move him.
That's the other big thing that makes him so valuable in trades, though, is that, look, you get him, you're going to have him under control for several more years.
The big sell for them is he's never been better, and he may never be better than he is right now.
Sure, and if you're a team that's looking to make a World Series push, I mean, he's
if you're saying Milwaukee, you'll give up the farm for a Jake DeGrom.
Sure.
Or at least if I was Milwaukee, I would, to have a frontline ace, that's worth gutting my farm system because those guys, I mean, facts are facts. Those guys aren't going to sign with Milwaukee.
Right.
They're not coming to you by choice.
Yeah.
You have to go get them and put them in the situation where they're there to play because you have the rights. That's just the reality of it. When you're in a market like Milwaukee, guys just aren't coming unless you start winning. Guys aren't choosing to go there.
Right.
You know, it was the same thing was with the Golden State until they started winning.
Right.
They weren't a destination. Nobody wanted to sign with the Golden State Warriors.
I know.
Then they started winning, and now it's like, oh yeah, I want to play for Golden State. Well, now you do, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. Because you know you're going to get a ring.
Right. I've been to games in Oakland, dog, in the early 2000s. Man, plenty of good seats available. And that's a passionate fan base. But
Right.
you could get tickets, man. That wasn't a destination. That wasn't an attraction for free agents.
Right.
I went there when it was like Baron Davis and Jason Richardson in the house for the for the Golden State Warriors. It was a fun day on the drill. Enjoyed the holiday, and we enjoyed today. Tomorrow morning, business as usual on a Friday. Of course, we'll get one more look at the weekend forecast with Captain Kevin Favor and all your favorites. Of course, Jeff is along, and good news, Jeff should be in much better spirits as he'll get the phone back today.
Oh,
finally, our long national nightmare ends as phone gate is over.
Wow.
Jeff's delivery guy literally texted in to the show today to let him know that he had the phone, which just
That's awesome.
made us laugh so much because only Jeff's delivery guy would know that he's got Jeff's phone and would have the presence of mind to text in on the text line because he has Jeff's phone. He can't text him.
Jeff actually jetted out before the show was even over. I'm just kidding.
All right, so that'll do it for us. Another just award-winning edition of After Drill.
That's right.
You can't see it, but the trophies are stacking up back there. It's getting ridiculous. We're going to do like Leonard Fournette, and before long we're going to melt down a bunch and give them away to a local high school
there's
because
just so
it's just
many.
getting nuts.
Yeah.
But we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m.-ish, for another edition of After Drill. A Friday edition as we welcome another brutally hot weekend here
That's right.
on 1010XL. We love you, Googans. Bye!